Mississauga Comic Expo is back at the newly renovated Hazel McCallion Central Library. Although the Living Arts Center was a great event space while the library was undergoing renovation, it's certainly nice to be back home. If you haven't been to MCX before, it's a family-friendly, all-ages event that celebrates the diverse culture of comics, gaming, anime, cosplay, and art. There was a little something for everyone spread out to all 5 levels of the library. Of course, on every floor, you can find vendors and artists selling their art, comics, or handcrafted merchandise. In the Noel Ryan Auditorium, you can find the artists' sketch challenges and Q&A with authors and illustrators. For young families, you can attend a superhero storytime and join in on the costume parade. On the maker stage, you can find a sorting hat ceremony to find out if you're a Gryffindor, Slytherin, Ravenclaw, or Hufflepuff. On the ground floor, you can find the comic art gallery where you can draw and post your comics right on the spot. In the video game lounge, we had ongoing Fortnite Battle Royale challenges. We also had a tabletop gaming room filled with new and fun games for families and friends. We even had an escape room with all sorts of tricky puzzles to solve. Back on the maker stage, we rolled out the red carpet for all our cosplayers. We even had a chat with a bunch of artists to find out the comics that inspired them to start making their own comics.
When I was younger, I really got into Spider-Man comics, and specifically there's an arc called the Maximum Carnage series, and I just loved it. I loved the character development, I loved the writing, all of it. And then kind of as I got older, it really was works like V for Vendetta and The Watchmen and The Dark Knight, kind of those iconic graphic novels that really set me on my path, I think.
So the books and comics that made me want to start drawing comics is Junji Ito's work. So he is a horror manga artist. I love horror themes. So his work really made me want to start making and writing my own.
So when I was 11, I picked up a Shonen Jump for the first time in 2001, and I saw Naruto for the first time and realized comics are a job that I could reasonably do.
I think the first book that made me want to start drawing was The Uncanny X-Men. Like growing up, my brother was a big comic book fan, and he loved the X-Men. I always used to sneak into his room and steal his X-Men books and copy the drawings of Colossus and Wolverine doing the fastball specials. So that's how I got into it. So yeah, it was definitely Uncanny X-Men.
And mine, actually, you know what? I can say the Boondocks. It was a comic strip in a magazine, but it was actually in also in a newspaper. And I like that artist, the guy that did Boondocks. And I used to look at his stuff and hey, I want to do something like that one day. So yeah.
Probably Batman, and I think it was the first appearance of the second Robin because I was 4 years old and my cousin told me that his name was Jason too, and that's what brought me in.
As a kid, I used to watch a lot of Spider-Man, the animated series, and then I used to just draw Spider-Man all the time. So that kind of started my sort of journey in comic books. But then for the books that I do now, there's this magazine series called Heavy Metal Magazine, where I first came across comics that were painted. They had so many different art styles. It made me realize that comics didn't have to look like Marvel or DC. You could do whatever you wanted, and that's kind of been the main inspiration. But I always tell people Spider-Man is where it started for me.
Thank you to the artists, our staff, volunteers, and our partners to making this MCX one to remember. And if you didn't go this year, definitely keep an eye out next year, because there's always something for everyone at MCX.